What's going on, everybody? I'm John Welsh, and I'm the gentleman.
And I'm Alex Stanford, and I'm the scholar. And this fellow here is Mr. Paul Perkins. How you doing, sir?
Hey, I'm doing good, guys.
Okay, so tell us where we are.
Well, I don't know. Where were you the last time you found out?
Well, a lot drunker. A lot drunker.
Well, you're in the right place. This is called Murphy's Law. It's Murphy's Law Cigar Shop. Now, we're co-located with a bar, Murphy's Law Cigar and Sports Bar. But this cigar shop has been here for about 3 years now, and we're here right in the heart of Lafayette, Louisiana.
It is awesome. It is kitschy, but I just have to ask one thing. Does everything that can go wrong at Murphy's Law?
Well, absolutely, but that's part of the atmosphere. It's a show. You want to come and enjoy the show, right?
Yeah. Well, I will say every time I come here, it's something to spectate.
Yeah, I love coming here. This is like one of those like hidden gems where you just go like, it looks like a hole in the wall. And you get inside, and you're like, man, now I'm having a blast.
It's almost like a clubhouse.
Yes,
feel
it is.
to
It is.
Because
It's
it's
a
like
clubhouse
somebody made in their backyard, and it's like got all their favorite stuff in it, and you just go and have a good time.
Yeah.
But we have some housekeeping we have to do before we
do.
get too far down the rabbit hole here. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications,
there.
drop a comment. I know you won't because you're a bitch. Prove me wrong. Drop us a comment. No one ever does.
Yeah,
Also, share it. You know, because it's been a little while.
It has been. It's been.
Do I look
a couple
different?
weeks. Yeah, you do.
I don't know if you see it at home. Do not adjust your sets. That is pure sex appeal, baby. Coming at you. I never. That's my brother right here, mustache brother. I mean,
it's growing. It's coming. It's coming along nicely.
So for the unmustached at home, if I can explain what the experience of wearing this stash is, imagine just getting sworn in as like the big sheriff in the town, and then you put that badge on. When you put that badge on, you just walk straighter because you just know everybody respects what they're looking at.
Dude, I thought you were going for the 70s porn star look.
Two birds, baby.
Two birds.
Two birds.
Awesome.
And to commemorate the stash, I did give him a name.
Yeah, this is priceless.
It's Murray. Because he's furry.
Because he's furry.
That's. I got no shame in my game, man.
Furry Murray.
I love it. We also need to thank our official sponsors.
Yep.
It's Bailey Cigar Room and Karen Koroff Veterans. It's your one-stop shop for all your tobacco-related products except cigarettes. Why?
Because they're nasty.
So nasty. Go see Gary. Go see Jamie. It's always a fun time. You hear about political shenanigans.
Yeah.
Torpedo attacks. Just like... It's a cigar joint, man. Just hang out. Why are we trying to ruin people's lives? Yeah. But apparently some people just can't chill. No chill. But anyway, go see them. I just purchased a box of Perdomo Connecticut champagnes from them, and oh my God, such a delightful stick.
Yeah,
that's what I've been smoking. I don't know what y'all been smoking, but given by the comments, nothing.
Well, I'm kind of excited to see what we're going to smoke today.
I am too. We're going to get to it. Before we do that, we need to talk about the Not Gentlemanly Cigar Smokers online magazine.
Yes.
Affiliated partner with us. Working with them. Go check them out. Link is in the description. They release killer reviews with some nice pictures.
Yeah, I know the guy who does it.
Leave the kids at home. Okay? Because, they're just no fun at all. Anyway. But it's not appropriate. So
yeah, it's definitely not appropriate.
Out. Now, the secret star, the fourth member of the show, the cigar. What are we working with today, Mr. Paul?
Well, we're going to try the Taboo today.
The Taboo. I've never heard of that.
Well, a lot of people haven't. It's a really neat blend. It comes from the Jalapa Valley there in Nicaragua. It's been around since 2006. Very limited, very exclusive cigar. You can get them from the Taboo Cigar Lounge in Fort Worth, Texas, or you can get them here at Murphy Cigar Shop.
So who did you have to sleep with to get access to these?
The list is long but distinguished.
Okay.
Yeah, I heard it in a movie once. And just thought,
yeah, I've heard that one too. So is that close? Is that valley close to Esteli?
Well, that's a good question. Geography never was my strong point, but since Nicaragua is such a small place, probably so.
That is a very good answer. That's an answer better than Joe Biden could give in a debate. It's like,
did he actually give one?
Oh, touche. Well, let's see the lovelies.
Alrighty. Well, here on this tray, we have we're going to look at a couple of their blends today. One is the Twist, which is a natural Maduro leaf. The other is a Habano Sun-Grown. That's got all the really heavy medium flavors in it, like the pepper spices that you're going to experience today. We have everything from the Robusto to the Toro Grande, and Churchill. Have a couple of limited reserves like the Toro Box Press HSG, the Corona, and let's see. We also have a couple of Churchills hiding out in there for the HSG if you're so inclined.
Nice. So would you describe the Taboo line as like a sweeter line, an earthier line, or a spicier line?
It's a heavier, spicier line. It's one of the most heavy medium cigars that you can smoke today.
Nice. We do like them full. We do like them full.
Yeah,
All right.
I'm
Well, whatever
so-
you're having is what we're having.
All right. Well, I'm just going to grab one. So you
Okay.
guys pick whatever your size.
All right. You want to try to compensate, or what are you going to do, John? What do you pick?
I compensate a little bit. I want one of the big ones.
That's the Toro Grande.
All
I
right.
want the grande.
All right. This one has
yeah.
a lovely limited reserve band on it, so that means somebody loved it.
Yeah. I'm gonna tell you right now, the presentation's there. You know I'm a stickler for that.
Oh, we do know. We've heard what you've had to say about other brands' bands. I like how it's not too ostentatious, the band.
Yeah.
You know, it's not trying to be too much, but it's just saying, this is what I am.
Yeah.
Don't talk about me, because I'm taboo.
It's simple but good.
Right?
This is really nice. The oils in it sit proper.
Now, I see we have some high-class accoutrements here. I was looking at your lightsaber handle. What do we got here?
Well, we got a couple of lighters that we use from Lotus today. We got the Dominator, and then we've got their table lighter with little tools in it that works fantastic. We have them here for sale, as a matter of fact. Come on down and grab a few.
Yeah, I that's the first thing I was looking at is that, man, you got a selection in there of everything.
Well, we have a few things. But we try to make it your one-stop shopping center.
He's like, I dabble.
Yeah.
I dabble. All right, we have a cut. So the first thing I noticed in looking at it is that it's got a really nice capillary action. It's not veiny, but you can see the capillaries in the leaves, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah, this one was wrapped amazingly.
All right, so let's take a dry pull.
Yeah.
Grape.
Yeah. Oh, that raisin grape is
Yeah.
it's like right there.
Little spice right on the end.
Kind of liking it.
So how many of these have you had, Mr. Obscure Elite Pattern of Distribution?
Oh, I don't know. This is really my go-to. I smoke these. Probably 80% of everything I smoke is the Taboo.
Okay, so here's what I propose, since he knows he's way more than we do.
Okay.
You wait to give your notes after we do, so you can tell us if we're full of shit.
Well, see, here's the thing. Doesn't matter what I think of it. It's what you guys think of it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Well, right. We're young Padawan here is in training.
Yeah, I'm still my first year in, but I've smoked some amazing
All right, I'm gonna go with
cigars.
the lightsaber. This thing is badass. Like, it looks like it's a Swiss Army knife that was
On steroids.
Yeah, right. It's like, so this can open your cans, you can open your letters, you can pick your teeth, and you can slay a fucking Sith Lord with it.
and if you're not careful, you can melt down your microphone.
Yeah. So
Isn't that true?
So speaking of melting, my wife's stylist for her lashes told her she's banned from lighting her own cigars because she was singeing them with the torches. And so now she's all like, I can't do it. You're just going to have to cut it and light it for me.
She got me to, she's like, I'm not getting close to that thing. I'm like, here you go.
Yeah, you know, some of those lighters are fantastic, but when they put off huge flames, the big hair girls from Texas and all the hairspray, you have to watch out.
Oh, that's why cigars weren't that big in the 80s. Like a Hindenburg problem.
It would be like the Hindenburg. Definitely got a pepper finish.
Yep.
It's all about that business.
First thought, it reminds me of like the Perdomo Maduro mixed with the LFD Ligero. That's kind of the first flavor note I got off of it.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of for me. I'm a heavy cigar smoker, so I like the LaFleur.
Yeah.
And that's why I like this so much, because it has some of the same remnants that the LaFleur has in it.
Man, this is it's got some notes on it.
Yeah. So start us off. tell us what prompted you to start Murphy's Law.
Well, it's kind of an interesting story, really. A friend of mine, he was helping out on the security committee with the association I'm the operations director for. And he came to me and said, hey, I really want to do something like a cigar bar. And he goes, you ever think about doing it for a living? Of course, I said, no. And he said, well, why not? I said, well, man, when you start owning a shop and selling cigars, it can't be as much fun as smoking them.
Right.
And I got to thinking about it, and I said, you know what? Maybe having a shop and hanging out and getting to meet all the folks might be a lot better. So sure, let's see what we can do. So he asked me down. We took a look at it, and this is what we ended up with.
So what made you choose this location, like in between towns?
Well, it really was already here. He had the building leased, and he had the bar set up, and this was just an add-on to that situation. We didn't like scout for a location. This just kind of came to be.
So in the time that you've been open, what have you observed as far as like the growth of the culture here in the community?
Well, we see an array of people coming in on a daily basis from all walks of life. It's really kind of interesting when you look at the folks. Now, as far as the escalation of traffic and revenue, with COVID all last year and some of the things that we've experienced, it's been up and down, and so there's not a pattern that I could put my finger on. The metrics are all over the chart.
It's just been, since I've been like active in the community the last year or so, it's wild seeing just how big it is, and maybe it just was always this big, and I hadn't gotten a chance to really see it all. But it just seems like the more into it I get, the more I find, and it's just wild. There's all these groups where they have their little cigar meetups in different places, and sometimes you cross paths with them and you're just like, what's up, man? Because we did this event on Friday, and it was for Upper Lafayette, and it was a cigar social, and I met some guys, and they like had all their gear, and it was just the coolest thing, because like I didn't even know these guys, but I was just like, I'm just gonna go up and start talking to them, and they're gonna be cool with it. And so I went up and was like, what are you smoking? Yeah. And that's like the secret handshake, you know, because once you ask him that, then you're in. So he starts telling me what he's smoking. He was smoking an H up in Cameroon, and he wanted to show me what else is in there. And I saw he had a black diamond. He had a Maximus from Diamond Crown on the top of his thing. I was like, dude, that's a good stick. And so then he was just like, oh, you know your stuff. And so he started showing the rest of them, and I was calling them out. And like they have their own group, and so like we exchanged information, and it's just awesome.
Yeah, they were good guys. They were really good guys.
Really cool guys. It was a lot of fun, and I've enjoyed meeting the group of people out here as well. It's been...
Yeah, that's one thing about a cigar culture. I mean, it's so interesting that you come in and it's somebody that you may never have the opportunity or pleasure to get to meet or even know at all in what you do normally. You come in, you start talking about anything, and the conversations spin from how do I put a drainage ditch in to, you know, my wife was cooking something the other night and it didn't turn out so well. And everybody has a good time talking about it, and the stories about their wives, and the ladies with stories about their husbands. I mean, it's fantastic. You get a lot of material to use for jokes from that way, by the way. So we want to do a thing called Murphy's Misfits, and some of the crazy things that people do, like light the wrong end and put it in their mouth, stuff like that. It's so entertaining. So.
You have to have a way of logging all of these things as they happen, because you don't want to rely on memory, because you're going to forget. But like, I remember that time Snicker Fritz tried to smoke the wrong end of a cigar.
Snicker Fritz.
Got to write it down and date it. You know, Snicker Fritz, 1013, blah blah blah.
So you know that guy too?
Oh, what? Everybody knows Snicker Fritz. We were hanging out with our friends. I'm not going to out him, even though he's not watching the show, so I could totally say his name. He tried to light his cigar with the band on the bottom of it still.
Yeah. That happens more than I'd like to admit, but people, they when they first try it, they get a little nervous, so they're not what to do, but they don't want to tell you it's their first go at it, right?
Yeah.
So they try to be real cool, and they light it, and you smell something odd, you turn around. Come here, let me help you with that a little bit.
Well, your first cigar in public is a lot like your first sexual encounter. You don't want anybody to know it's your first time, so you act like you know what you're doing.
What was that like? Man, I was scared and afraid. I was all alone. That's why I was scared and afraid. But anyway, it's kind of one of those things. But you're really just having a cigar. You really want to find one you like and relax, and the conversations just flow.
Right.
It's very seldom do you kind of get that odd moment where it just kind of dies and everybody's looking at you, well, what's that?
Well, we'll just all smoke our cigars awkwardly for a while.
This is a good environment too to have, you could really have like a bunch of like people in this space right here cutting up.
What I like about this place is every time you go, there's a different person who's absolutely shit-faced.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's the cool part.
And you just like watches like he's either gonna stay in I'm super cool to hang out with zone, or he's gonna slide into belligerent, and I don't know which way it's gonna go, and it's a little exciting.
Yeah, we try to help those folks out, but usually
help
out
them
the
out.
door. But anyway, it's one of those things where people come in, they have a few drinks, they loosen up, and the things that you see and hear are just incredible. It's a hoot. So,
All right, report, John. What are you picking up? Now that we're like past the foreplay, we're getting into it.
So you were right. It's very heavy in the pepper because the finish it just lingers. And then for me, it's not. I don't want to say fruity. It's more like the raisin is very predominant. I don't taste any hay. Like I don't taste that at all. It's I don't want to say the word's fruity, but it's kind of like that raisin is high up on there. You know,
It's like a sweet earthiness.
Thank you. You're way more articulate.
I know,
than
but I
am.
like watching you struggle first.
Yeah, but it sits right there. So if you're into that, it's the pepper is going to take over at the end.
Yeah.
But it's definitely kind of like a raisin taste that leads into a pepper.
It has kind of that raisin flavor that a Rocky Patel 1990 has, but this is way earthier than that. The 90s like a sweet leather. This is a sweet earthy, very different.
Here's the thing too. It's a good draw. Like it's not like one you're gonna have to suck the
Very
life
firm.
out of it. Yes,
Very
very
firm.
firm. But and the draw is perfect. So
Like I doubt you could leave teeth mark on this, you biter.
yeah, I'm a biter, and I'm not. I've been chewing it, and there's nothing. It's good. I like it.
All right, so now we'll let him take it home. What are you tasting?
well, pretty much the same thing. We get the heavy woods. We get the pepper, the some slight red, but mostly black type pepper flavors at the end. It's a real smooth smoke, so you can retrohale if you want without burning all your sensories out. So
Yeah.
it's really a very good cigar. And as I said, that's why it's my mainstay, because it's very consistent.
It has a very nice retrohale.
Yeah,
I hadn't done it yet. I was like, oh yeah, that's good.
it
It's,
sits well.
It's got a lot more complexity to the flavor on the retrohale than on just the tip.
Yeah, and you can drink a lot of different liquors with it. I know you guys like to drink, because I think one of you qualified into that category from that drunk category. No, I'm teasing. But no, it blends very well with a lot of different liquors. Like Woodford Reserve, for instance, is one of my favorites with it. A lot of different scotches. I have one gentleman that has this favorite that's an Isle Scotch that is very peaty. And to me, it kind of tastes like Band-Aid smell. The Scotch does. But he says that it blends.
It was good too.
That was interesting. I've never heard of
No, but he's right though. Like I would almost say it like a Band-Aid smells is what I'm tasting. That's crazy. That was good. That was really good.
Very cool. So what does a price point on something like these Churchills go for?
Well, the Churchills and the Toro Grandes are $11. The Robustos and the Toros are $10. They've done a good job with pricing all the activity with the cigars, and so they have both of their blends at the same price points.
I will say $11 for a Churchill. That's like cheap.
That's really
That's not much at all.
Yeah.
So for such an exclusive line,
yeah. This
really
is
is-
because
it
I
really
had
is
not seen
affordable.
this in any other smoke shop in the area.
That's correct. And if you do, let me know.
Yeah, okay.
oh,
Definitely.
because it's gonna be a rumble.
It's gonna be a rumble.
Like, what you doing, man? You can't be selling my taboos. I'm gonna cut you.
I'll send my barmaids over.
So, since this is our first episode in the month of April, I would be remiss if I did not say Happy Autism Awareness Month, guys.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay.
That just shows how insensitive you are. You didn't even know.
Did.
Oh, you think just because you're best friends with Spurg, you can just like be totally bigoted to the rest of us? Okay, it's okay. It's
No,
fine.
no, and yes.
It's fine. But if you are not aware, there's a lot of us, and a lot of us don't even know that we're on the spectrum. I still have friends who they're just like, you know what? I'm gonna get myself tested. And I'm like, son of a bitch. I'm a weirdo too, and it's like, come on, bring it on in. Bring it on in.
You'll be alright.
It's good. It's good. I'm trying to find like the most concise way to express to people like what having my kind of autism is, and what I came up with was I got a PhD in math because I didn't have anything else to do. Nothing else to do. And then I didn't want to get a job, so that's kind of what it was. But it raises so many questions of like, why wouldn't you have wanted to, like, I don't know, chase women? That's autism. That was hard. Math was easy. So, yeah. But anyway, so if you know somebody, give them a hug, but not too much because it'll probably make them uncomfortable.
It will. I think that's pretty much every guy, though.
So how was your Easter? We just had a holiday.
My Easter's the same as another day other than going to church. That's about it.
You went to church?
Yeah, I go to church.
Were you like selling something?
No, just go.
Oh.
Did they let you in?
Yes. Well, I can't touch the holy water. I walk in perfectly.
We went camping for Easter over at Palmetto Park. It was pretty cool. We didn't actually get the park ranger called on us, so that was a plus.
There's
moving up.
One check off.
But we did have one incident. Lindsay was in the camper, and I was outside like doing something, and she screams, and it was this blood curdling shriek that could mean like she either cut her finger off or she saw a bug. It was one of those. And I couldn't be sure what it was, but it was like, that's a really tough predicament to be in, because if you assume, oh, she just saw a bug, and it turns out there's a phalange on the ground, you're going to look like a piece of crap. But if you run in there with like tourniquets and there's a roach, then you're going to be mad and look stupid. So it was like, you gotta make just enough of an effort, but not too much, because you don't want to have it be, embarrassing. So it turns out she slammed her finger in the door and like almost ripped the nail off, and it was like, ow. Really, really gruesome. And she's like going into shock. She's hyperventilating. She's having a panic attack. And Esme is screaming like, "Is Mom gonna die?" And so like I go to help her, and like it's shooting blood, and then she faints.
Like full-fledged
just drops like a sack of potatoes, and she's on the ground. And I look over, and like I'm trying to pick her up. She looks lifeless, and there's an adjacent campsite, and they're looking at me. And I'm just,
you knocked her out.
I'm just like, well, this just got awkward.
And did you have a knife in your hand by chance?
I know. I felt really stupid in that hockey mask.
I shouldn't have wore that balaclava.
But anyway, she was okay, But it was a real tumultuous encounter, because I had to deal with like every plate that was spinning was about to collapse, so I had to deal with that. But then we get home, Connor gets a machete. He's 12, and within 5 minutes, he split his hand open. He comes over to me. I'm sitting out in the, this is like yesterday. I'm sitting out in the front patio reading, and Connor walks over to me and he's like, "Dad, I think you need to take me to the hospital." And I'm like, "Oh, okay. I'm really freaked out by how calm you are about this whole thing." And he's like, "I cut my hand with my machete." And I'm like, okay, there's no way this is going to look good. It's not like it was a paring knife, So I take...
How bad is it?
It's like 2 inches long. I could see his bones.
Oh, yeah, that's no bueno.
Yeah. I was just like, okay, dad mode kicking in. I'm passing out. And like autopilot was taking over. So I was like, all right, put pressure on it. We're going to the hospital. I call Lindsay. She's gone. And so I'm like, all right, I'm taking him in. And they have to stitch him up. I swear to God, my son is Don Fry.
Dude.
The UFC fighter?
Yeah.
Oh my God, this guy is so freaking tough. He just walks in and he's like, "I need stitches." They go in the back, they're asking these questions, and it's like his stack of paper towels is all red. He's bleeding everywhere, and he's just like, he's upset that he let me down. Like, that's what he's emotional about. But I ask, "Are you hurt?" And he's like, "No, I don't feel anything." And then they're like, "All right, we're going to have to sew you up." And the guy's like, "I'm not going to lie. This is going to hurt, kid. You sure you can do this?" And he's just like, "Yeah, just do it." And he said, "I'm going to inject you multiple times
I've been there.
to numb it, and each one's going to feel like a wasp sting." And so like he goes in there and Connor just goes, and he just like powers through these shots, and I'm like emotional watching this. I'm like, oh my God, this kid is a beast.
Yeah.
And now he's got this massive hand wrap like he punched through a window, which I'm sure he would do that.
So how are our friends down at Child Protective Services?
Right? All right, I was so waiting for them. Like, how did this happen? I'm like, I didn't do it.
Was not me.
Don't look at me, people. I was like, Connor, tell him what you did. And he's like, I cut my hand hacking vegetation in the backyard. And like, what kind of vegetation were you hacking? He's like, a stick. He's like, what kind of knife? And I was like, oh, it was a small knife. It was like a letter opener. And he's like, it was like a 12.5-inch blade. I'm like, son of a bitch, shut up, kid.
Shut up.
I was like, nice knowing you. I'll go pack a bag and leave it for DCFS when they show up. Make sure you tell them you're autistic because you're a handful. But that's yeah.
That was yesterday.
That was yesterday. I was in
Great.
shell shock.
So what's
Dude.
it going to be today?
I don't know. They ask him, have you had any surgeries or procedures before? I was like, no, he's never, because I'm already thinking like they're calling 911 and waiting for another answer before they're like, boop. So I'm just like, no, he's never had a surgery. He's like, well, I did have that concussion at one time. I'm like, yeah, and you're not supposed to remember it. That was the point, kid. But yeah, that was him. So
Well, damn.
yeah, but let's pivot gears here. So tell us about you. What did you used to do before you slung cigars?
Well, I've been really blessed. I've had a couple of different careers in my life, from law enforcement and military. I was a pilot in the military, and I worked for one of the local companies here in aviation for about 20 years as well as a commercial pilot. And then when I left and retired, I got conned into taking a role with our homeowners association as the ops director.
Wow. So what did you fly?
All kinds of helicopters, military. The last thing I flew, I was in Iraq, and I got the opportunity to fly Chinooks with a great unit.
Wow.
There,
So I've always wanted to ask a pilot this. Don't lie. When you pull down on the sticks, do you go like?
No.
Man.
No, you push down the sticks, the house gets bigger. You pull back, they get smaller.
There you go. I don't know. I always wondered. I just want to know.
They don't do that.
Okay,
So
fine.
do you fly now? Like,
I
you have
haven't
your own-
flown. I do own an airplane still, but I haven't flown it in about probably 4 or 5 years.
So no choppers.
Not lately, no. Like I said, when I left, I don't go rent a chopper. Kind of pricey, just to go fly around in one. So.
Well, yeah, I just learned that recently because we're doing some things. That's all I can say right now.
Oh, the things we're doing, everybody. The things we're doing.
And we were going to do one with a helicopter coming in, and that was one of the things where we're just like, oh no, can't do that. It's a little pricey.
So we just we had customers dealing with. Maybe they'll want to come in and walk in front of the camera, and then we can talk to them or talk at them.
Anyway, so you were saying like, so you do fly. You only have a plane. You don't have a helicopter at all.
No.
Why did you want to go that route? And because you used to fly helicopters.
Well,
for
I
the
flew
military.
both
Yeah.
airplanes
Okay.
and helicopters. So.
Okay, and so what was your last tour? Because I remember I'm trying to put you, because I know we were there at the same exact time.
Okay. Well, I spent. We came back in 04. Was over there in 03 and 04.
Yep.
And came back and then went back to work for PHI. I was mobilized and
Yep.
for the company I flew for here locally. And they were great by, they handled the service members very well there. And so they welcomed me right back and went right back to work. So I came back.
Yeah, most companies are pretty good about it. You know what I mean? It's like throwing you right back in the mix.
Right. Yeah, it was great. They said, hey, you can come here on this day. I called them and said, yeah, I'm going to be home ready to go in about a month. And they said, great. Well, we'll schedule like in 3 days. And so
Yeah.
I'm not even home yet. So give me about a week and I can be there. So, but they were shorthanded at the time. So they were trying to get everybody back on staff as soon as possible. So, and it was great. Just came right back in, went through my training I had to go back through and got requalled and sent back out to the field and started flying. So
Yeah, it's awesome.
it was fun, man. It was a great job. Really.
So what kind of missions did you get involved in?
As few as possible.
Well, that's the right
Yeah,
answer,
right. They were
right?
using them. They were using and abusing them.
Yeah, we flew a lot of beans and bullets and people around, did all kinds of interesting things over there. We were in a group that was echelon above corps asset. So we got to cross the different command lines, and we flew with and for quite a few different units. The organization I was with, we got split up sometimes, and so some would fly from one group, another group, several aircraft be assigned to another. So,
wow. Did y'all were in the same time, the same area? So
No. If his last mission was in 04, right? No, we were not there at the same time. I was there for the withdrawal.
okay.
So that was my last mission, I should say. 'Cause it wasn't my first. It was like the last one. So 10, 11 is when we were out of there. We were the people closing the gate at Cape Crossing. So
Right.
yeah, it was the withdrawals are always crappy. I did 2 withdrawals out of countries, and it's the people are like, "Oh, America's here. We're all going to be saved." And then when you start withdrawing, they're like, "Oh, hold on. Who are these guys?" Like, no. And then that's when it kind of gets ugly, because you're like, "Well, we got to go, man. There's nothing we can do." I mean, you've been there.
I feel left out. I'm the only one who hasn't been in the military,
Well, you've been at a bar at closing time, right?
Well, yeah.
Okay, and you get shoved out the door.
Yeah.
And,
Just like that?
yeah. So it's kind of one of those things.
Oh, all right.
So you experienced.
Only people are shooting at you.
Oh,
They're trying to blow
yeah,
you
by
up.
the way.
Well, I mean, I'm going out on the north side.
That's pretty close. Yeah.
I only tell horrible jokes because that's what he likes. So it's his fault. It's
If
his
you've
fault.
ever left a crazy woman, that's what it's like.
Fair enough.
I have had to leave one of those.
Yeah, it's just like that. Only they shoot at you.
My first serious breakup in college, it was this real bad relationship, but she had just given me this really nice cue stick, and I felt like a piece of shit if I just dumped her right after that. So I was like, I gotta induce her to do something that would justify me breaking up with her so that she won't ask for the stick back. Because I knew if I was just like, "This is awesome. Is that a rabbit over there?" She'd be like, "Hey, give me the stick back, you jerk," and I'd have to give it to her because I wasn't that big of a jerk. So I ended up printing out a bunch of emails between me and this other girl, and I just left them in her apartment. And she found them.
What? Of course she's gonna find them. You left them where she can find them.
But they were in a box that said "Do not open."
Well, yeah.
And she opened them, John.
Yeah, that's the whole point.
That's
what
called
women
breach.
do. Breach of contract, buddy. You broke
So I
it.
was just like, "You have betrayed my trust. I must leave you
It
with the
says,
stick."
"Do not open with this stick."
I was like, "I am so offended. I'm gonna just console myself playing pool for a while." And sure enough, I got to keep the stick. I still have it.
I still have it. I walk around going, I got this stick. I got rid of
That's
it crazy.
a whole lot of planning and preparation for a simple departure. What was that song?
What?
Hop on the bus, Gus. Yeah.
Right.
I'm
Well,
on the buzz, good.
I overthought everything, so that's what I did.
Autism.
Autism. Okay. I
Right.
understand completely.
Whatever.
So, did you get to do any of the cool missions like we still talk about back in the, because you were there during the Wild Wild West time.
Well, it
If
was
you were there in
interesting.
4, then you were still in the Wild Wild West. It was kind of like 2002 to 4, right in that area. That was kind of like when it was still the Wild Wild West over there.
Well, the missions that we did were really, we were kind of on the peripheral of a lot of that. We got to meet a lot of neat, interesting people, and move them around and be part of their operations. But as far as being in a whole bunch of garbage all the time, that's not what we did.
Okay.
So when you're flying Chinooks, it's kind of a big target, so they can kind of get you moving stuff around and people around and putting them on the peripheral of everything. So
And I've asked you this before, but I want the viewers to hear me say it to somebody. So, if you ever get on a Chinook and it's not bleeding from something, there's not oil and stuff going everywhere, get off the Chinook.
Okay.
Because
that's the older model.
because that means that it's going to go down.
Yeah, the old models, if it wasn't spewing something,
Yeah.
that meant it was out of it.
It was out of it. You need to get the hell off.
Yeah,
I see now. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So what type of mission is optimal for a Chinook pattern helicopter?
Well, large movements. You can move a lot of folks with it. You move a lot of cargo, sling loads, vert rep missions, vertical rep missions, those type of things. So they do a lot of insertions for troops and mountainous terrain. I think one of the most famous pictures of Chinook landing on a pinnacle, just with its rear tires, and it drops the gate and tongue back, and the guys run off of it on the pinnacle, and then they just pitch over and take off.
Whoa.
Those are the type of things that Chinooks are very well suited for.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
What kind of, does this have an armament loadout or?
What?
An armament loadout?
Well, it depends on what organization that you're with. Like the special ops guys have all kinds of cool toys on it. The standard line units have 60s and machine guns, that kind of stuff, and a couple of pop guns and that kind of stuff.
We were trained to pull the OH-58 Deltas, like the people, like we learned how to get them out of the vehicle if something ever happened to them, because they were scouts, so work with them a lot. So if they ever went down, we were trained how to get in there and get them the hell out of there quickly. So we worked a lot with them. Yeah. That was one of our go-tos.
Sure.
Plus they got this huge old eye on those things, man. They can see they see everything. They just pop up, pop down, pop up, pop. It's pretty cool.
So when you're not smoking these taboos, what is your like special cigar that you love for those good occasions?
Well, there's a couple of cigars I like. Like I said, I'm a LaFleur guy, so I smoke a lot of LaFleurs. The other one I really enjoy, of course, because they're so pricey, I don't smoke them much, but the Cohiba, the Cuban Cohibas, the Talisman. I really enjoy those. So
that's
great
right,
cigars.
Dude, the Talisman is amazing. Although, to be honest, like, I've never had a single Habano from Cohiba that wasn't just like freaking amazing. You know, the Robusto Supreme, the Talisman, the Maduro, those are all like hardcore heavy flavors, but the Silo line, Esplendidos, Pyramidas, the Novadosa, they all are like this amazing, delicate, sweet, creamy leather with some cocoa, and I'm just like, oh man, I want to inhale it. Like, it's that good. And then you get to the Behike, and it's just like, oh my god, I didn't realize a cigar could do that. You know, so oh man, I love the Cohiba, absolutely love it.
This thing, I'm trying to pull harder and harder to see if I can get the burn to kind of like really push it, and it's the same draw. It's actually really good.
It has a lot of similarities to what James Brown is doing with Black Label out of Nicaragua.
Yeah.
His stuff is like, to the eye, darker than these. He has like almost jet black wrappers on a lot of his sticks, but the full bodiness of them, man, this is full. There's no joke. This is full. Very earthy. I'm getting a strong peat note into the middle third.
Yeah, I like it.
It's like not for well, it's right up your alley. I know how you love those intensity in 10 cities type of smokes. Right on.
So and I'm trying to get it going, and it's like it's the same one. I'm just like, and it just keeps getting better.
Well, look at this burn line. I mean, it's flawless.
Yeah,
flawless burn line. And I haven't had to touch it up at all. And
I'm digging the Taboo.
I was talking to a friend of mine last night, and she was talking about how she favors a firmer draw. She doesn't like them like a paper towel roll, you know, where you're just like there's nothing there. This is firm, but it's not like a bad Habano firm where you're just like
you're sucking the life out of it.
Sucking on a branch. You're just like I'm not getting anything. Every now and again, I'll smoke with Andre, and he'll pick a tight one, and he'll start smoking, and he's like, my eyes are sucking in. So we're like, all right. They have tools for that, like little aspirators, like these little barbed sticks. You shove them up there, and they kind of like, I guess.
Yeah, but when you have to go to that extent,
I know.
Like, come on.
I know. I just
like you're wrapping it wrong. Do something else.
Like maybe you should spend that money and just buy better cigars.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't buy ones you got to bore.
Yeah. If you're in there,
you know what make this cigar great? A fucking drill.
Yeah, if you're a dentist or an offshore driller or something, it might be up your alley. But,
right? So when did you first encounter these taboos?
Well, actually, about 2006.
That's a great question.
Wow.
The guy who developed them, got with the rollers and they came to be. He had a panel of his customers. Now they sit there and they did blends and blends and blends, and he got it in the ballpark, and then he employed this panel of his customers to smoke these sticks for about 6 months. And they would make recommendations, they would modify it until they came up with this. And so that's how this cigar came to be.
So why is it so exclusive?
Well, it's just it's one person's vision on what a cigar should be, and so he put that into effect and created this cigar. And he's just now getting to the point where he wants to kind of release them, I guess, if you will. But they've really been his cigar. It's all about Rob and his cigar, So, but he's got customers there in Dallas-Fort Worth that come in, and that's all they smoke. He sells more of these any other of his cigars in his humidor. So
I will say that for as full as it is, it has a it's so deceptive, the retrohale, because you would swear like this is gonna be an intense retro.
Yeah.
And then it's so not.
It's not.
It's so not. That's wild.
if
And
like
for
these,
$11, come on.
Yeah,
That's
the twist
deal.
is great too. It's a lighter flavor. It's more nutty flavor, a little bit of light wood, that kind of stuff, and it's great with coffees. If you're just looking for that coffee cigar, the twist is kind of an answer. He told me this funny story about his wife. Well, let me talk to the other story. But anyway, no, the funny story he was talking about. They were on the patio at a hotel. They were staying on vacation. He lit a Taboo with his coffee that morning, and he was sitting out there, and his wife came out and goes, she hates cigars, by the way. But anyway, so she goes, let me try that. So she took a hit, and he goes, I can't keep her from smoking my stash now. So she's into smoking Taboos. And we have several of the ladies that come in here, and they love that cigar. I've got a buddy of mine who lives in my neighborhood. I got him to try them, and that's all he smokes now. And he switched to another brand just for something different, and his wife told him to switch back. So
Switch back, please.
I do. Happy wife, happy life.
Oh, heck yeah.
So tell me a bit about your personal collection. I know you have a full humidor here. Are you one of those guys where it's like you got your brand, you're an LFD guy, and so you just like stock the LFDs that you like, or are you like a collector where you're like, I want a little bit of this, a little bit of that?
Well, I kind of collect a little bit of everything. I've got a nice array of Cubans that I purchase, the R&Js, the Cohibas, Monte Cristos, quite a few different brands. And of course, I call them domestic cigars, everything else, right?
Right.
So the other cigars that are obtainable everywhere else here in the United States, I collect those as well. I love Fuente's Opus X. I really enjoy that cigar because it's got some different spices like cinnamon flavors, that kind of stuff in it. It's really it's a step away from a traditional cigar, in my opinion.
Right.
And so I like it occasionally. So I've got a pretty large collection of Fuentes and Opus, and Fuentes is really the first cigar I started smoking.
Me too. Mine too. I started on the Double Chateaus.
How'd you like that Opus X?
All right. So
That's the one you got from Texas, right? When you were out there.
I didn't smoke that one yet.
Oh, you haven't
No.
smoked
I smoked the Bellicosa,
Okay.
which it did not impress me as much as I thought it would. It started off really well, but it ended up not being as rich or complex as I tend to favor. But that's kind of the thing about Fuentes. Their Reservas and their Grand Reservas and all their like specials. I've been trying a lot of those upper end Fuentes, and what they do, like the God of Fire, is very similar in that its flavor profile is more narrow in the notes that it hits, but man, those notes are freaking great. So like the Opus or the God of Fire will have this really amazing like baked but almost overcooked baked note where it's like this breadiness, but it's savory and it's really nice, but it's clean and it has an amazing finish, but it's not like the first part of the tongue, I'm tasting this, and then it transitions. It's just like this stereo sound, like just this note, and it's I really dig it. It's a good, for me, it's like a palate cleansing cigar because it's really clean and It's very enjoyable, but it's not like something like this. Is more of a main course cigar because it's really rich with the flavor. And so I smoke a lot more Fuentes. I got the 80th birthday Don Carlos special release thing. I'm saving that. I don't know when I'm smoking.
Hey, I don't mean to switch gears real quick, but I got to ask because you got Paul right in front of us. So I think it was like a couple weeks back. The big story around town was this C-130 that dipped really low across our town and like shot up. Did you hear anything about that?
Oh yeah, you don't know what that's about?
No, what was that?
Well, that's that spy group that's here local. They come in, they spray chemical on everybody. No, I have no idea. This area, some of the military aircraft will come across Lafayette, the airport, and do a low pass across the runway and then climb out, or they'll go down to Acadiana Regional and do the same thing. That used to be a frequent stop on Fridays because they had special seafood day or something there. So a lot of the training aircraft would come in and land. They'd all go in and eat and then leave and go wherever.
See, I knew he would. See,
I heard the C-130s were Trump's new campaign against mosquitoes. That he was just sending C-130s to paratroop Marines to shoot the mosquitoes because that's how Trump thinks. We're going to kill the mosquitoes. Believe me.
There's none. None.
Ask anyone. Mosquitoes fear Trump.
But yeah, I know how everybody in like the crews, like they all talk. You know what I mean? So maybe there was like, oh man, no, we were doing something stupid, and then this is what happened.
You never know.
Yeah.
Well, to get back to cigars, since you are a collector of both the Puro and the Habano, what do you think makes Cubans so special?
Well, it's the region that they grow in. I mean, if you could pick the most perfect place on earth to grow a cigar, it'd be Cuba. And I know back throughout history, the U.S. prior to the embargoes would pay to send people over and fertilize areas like that so they would continue to grow. Well, Cuba is, since the embargo, they sell, I think, what countries now? I guess the Asian countries are buying a huge lots of all the Cuban cigars.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah,
So,
China's big into Cuban cigars.
Yep.
and so it's just a great place to grow cigars if you can stay away from the hurricanes long enough, right? So,
Right.
But they grow some of the best tobacco in those regions. And they've been doing this for many, many years. They've perfected rolling cigars. I mean, it's just great blended cigars. They know what to change to make it taste a certain way. And when they come out with a new one, they know what it takes to develop that.
So do you think the rest of the world has caught up to Cuba as far as being able to make an equal cigar?
Well, I think there are so many great cigars out there. I mean, think about it today. Look at, if you walk in and somebody throws an oddball brand out, even the people that own stores or may not even have heard of it yet, right? So if your cigar is not exceptional today, it doesn't even make the honorable mention list, right? You have to have a fantastic product. So the cigars that I see, guys come in every once in a while and want to show us some of the new lines. Like one I just tried the other day is called Protocol. It's based after a lot of law enforcement names, like official misconduct is one of their labels.
That's
right?
cool.
It is. It's kind of cool. But they were fantastic. And so at some point we may look at bringing those in here. The thing is, your cigars today have to be exceptional. To your point or question, cigars in the rest of the world, they have their thing about them that are unique and special and very well done. Cuba has their thing. Like if you notice when you smoke that, it's very mild. You don't realize the amount of flavor and stuff that you're getting from it until you smoke one, then you try to stand up and go, wow, that was a little strong, because it's very smooth, palatable. Some of the other cigars like these have a stronger flavor and taste and that kind of stuff up front. Some start out light and come strong. I mean, it just depends. Like going sweeter tobacco, Honduras, right?
Well, the way I would describe it is, as far as what I imagine a cigar to be, or what it aspires to be, is sort of this optimization of how do we get as much flavor and complexity and richness, but staying palatable, mild, and not oppressive. Cuba has this way of doing it. I've never seen anybody equal it, where it's like very mild on the tongue, but the flavor notes are through the roof, and it's so composed, but it's so rich, but it's so user friendly that you could just like inhale it, and you want to just don't want to need to smoke it away because it tastes that good.
Don't inhale it.
Yeah, but don't inhale it.
Don't
To
inhale
me, no other cigar can compete with a Cuban in that respect. So that's why I still think they're the gold standard. But a lot of guys disagree, man. So I was just curious what your take was.
Well, Cuba has great cigars. So does the Dominican Republic. So does Nicaragua. You know, I mean, it just depends on what you like. You can take a $100 cigar or a $10 cigar, and if you don't like the $100 one, you're not going to buy it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of your flavor, whatever you like.
So you sound like you're more in John's camp, as a full body, a lot of earth.
Usually, I enjoy a heavier cigar, but believe me, I love a good Cuban cigar. You know, they're just real smooth and mellow, but they're very tasty. Now, you wouldn't want to smoke a lighter one at the end of the day after you've had a couple of heavy ones, because then you wouldn't see all the notes and
Exactly.
experience the benefits of one. So,
Yeah, I've done a little play testing as far as like smoking cigars one after that to see what they do, and generally it's easier to go up than to go down. If you start high full, you got to stay, because I went from a Maximus to a Leyenda, and I couldn't taste the Leyenda.
Right.
And I was just like, oh, I'm putting this down. I'm not wasting this, because
You don't
my
waste
tongue was all messed up. So that's why we do these hard things, so you guys don't have to, you know.
We're very glad to take that hit for you guys.
Yes,
but believe me,
job.
you should go try this. So,
Oh yeah.
yeah, it's like, we learn things as we grow up. Don't stick your finger in the light socket.
Oh, quickly.
Go smoke some heavy cigars in the morning. You'll know real fast what we're talking about.
Right? But I always think like lighter in the morning, you know, like those Perdomo Champagne Connecticut's a fantastic breakfast cigar, exceptional. But then you got guys like Ethan who are like, I like smoking a lump of black tar in the morning. Like, dude, that's your breakfast smoke? It's like, oh yeah, man, these black label sticks are great for breakfast. Like, well, what do you smoke at night? Pine tar? Like, this is nuts. But you know, everybody's got their own thing, and that's what makes the cigar culture so diversified, such a unique snowflake.
Yeah, when you smoke 6 or 7 cigars a day, I think you're burned out after a few anyway.
Oh, what? Yeah, we had a little extended break, and I brought a box with me, and I was just like trying to see how much I could smoke in a weekend. And by then, I was just like, my body was like, "We're gonna puke if you smoke anymore." And I was like, "I need to stop."
I don't want that to fall.
Yeah, I'm balancing mine because it's about to drop.
It doesn't even want to come off. I'll leave it on there.
It's a tight little thing.
Yeah, see, I whacked mine with a lighter earlier, so I had to flip it off or wear it, one of the two, right?
All right, middle third. Oh, there it goes. Ooh,
Hey,
and
nice.
it's
Look at that.
inside. Kobe.
Oh no.
So, I'm picking up pronounced pepper. The pepper is turning up. Very earthy. The fruitiness is diminishing. That's what I'm getting into my middle. How about you, sir?
The fruitiness is still there for me.
Well, it's always there for you, John.
Just a little fruity. For me, it's starting to get more stout. That's why I'm like really pushing the cigar, and it's the same draw, and I'm pushing it. Like, you're supposed to do it like once every minute or whatever, right?
Yeah.
I've been like doing it every 30 seconds trying to get it going, and it's still amazing. Like, I would buy this cigar.
You know, everybody at home, you know what pairs amazing with this stick? A mustache. That's right.
I have to agree with that.
I mean, there's just something about it. You're like, you see the mustache, and you think this could go one of a couple of ways, especially when you look like me, because the people are like, is Chris Hansen going to make an appearance?
And better John Holmes, right?
Right. But if you got a stick like this, you're like, oh, okay, all right. That at least takes that card off the table. It can still be a couple other things. So,
You need a pair of Ray-Bans to go with that cigar stash and the headset, man.
right.
You'd be
Well,
right
I have
there.
some aviators,
There you go.
and that works. Right? Yeah. Lindsay's all like, I didn't realize I had a cop thing until now. And it's like, you got the right to remain sexy. All right. It's like, ma'am, I'm gonna have to see your papers.
Backbeats, was it? Oh, backseat bell bonds open for service.
So you've been smoking a long time. Do you have any interesting cigar stories of people you've met or special cigars that you've commemorated something?
No, just kidding. Yeah, I think that for me, I've got to meet a lot of different folks smoking cigars, and it's kind of interesting. When I first started to work here over 25 years ago, I was in training, and I'd left my cigars back at the house in Fort Worth, and so I flipped open the Yellow Pages ad, and there was one of the guys that I met. His ad was in there, one of the local cigar shops, and so I called him up, says, "Hey, I'm over at the airport. Where are you located? I know nothing about Lafayette and how it's laid out." And so he told me. I said, "When are you close?" He goes, "Well, about 20 minutes." Man, I don't think I can get there in that time. Come on, I'll wait for you. And that's the kind of culture that the cigar guys are, So I drove over there, met those guys, and it was fantastic. I bought a couple of boxes from them, and we sat there and smoked until almost 11 o'clock. I said, "Guys, I got to go back to the hotel," So, but I got to meet those guys and develop friendships and relationships with them. So I think it's not about the big names or big people you meet. It's everyone else, because you get to know people and talk to folks that you never would otherwise. If I hadn't been looking for cigars, I never would have got to meet that group of folks. And over there, it's just really been a blessing for me to get to socialize with them and know. We've lost a couple of them along the way here, especially this last year or two. It's been
Not because of cigars.
Not because of cigars.
Not because
But we, so it's a hard hit, but it's a great family. Cigar smokers tend to kind of want to hang out with one another because we're accepting of everyone. Here, and it's all open. You can talk about anything from politics, and sometimes, in this day and age, politics are kind of taboo. Oh, I'm sorry, but sometimes it is, right? But everyone does it in a respectful manner, so you can have that conversation. Whereas other places, you can't have those conversations.
Well, what I love about cigar conversations is that I can meet somebody for the first time in a place like this, and we can start talking about a topic, but before the topic really develops, you already know you've got something in common with this guy.
Yeah.
You both like smoking, and that to me has been really cool because it makes it that much easier to break ice with guys and just start saying, "Hey, what are you smoking?" And everybody, male and female alike, have been really cool about just like, yeah, I've never met an antisocial cigar smoker where they're like, "Excuse me, I was smoking alone." I've never had that happen. Sometimes I wanted to be that guy because there was a couple of times I'd be somewhere and I was like, "Oh my God, I hope this guy doesn't see me smoking. This son of a bitch, he's coming over here," and like it's just awkward. He probably had autism. I hate him.
So, what are you smoking?
But
how many,
Hash,
how
what
many
are you
puffs
smoking?
per hour does that take? And that equals 32 hours and 72 puffs per minute. Yeah. Well, yeah.
I try to keep the the spurginess controlled. My channel is just inappropriate comments. That's what I do. Whereas a lot of other ones, they'll just like say things like factoids, where you're like, okay, that didn't really have any relevance to what we're doing, but thank you, And that's like I know some more classic Asperger's people, and that's kind of how they are. I'm like, man, that sucks. It's like I just offend people, and I don't always realize that I'm doing it. But like that's totally different. Wow.
That's why he's a comedian.
Well, I had to have a cover,
Yeah.
Like as a kid, I would use comedy as a cover for saying spurgy stuff, because I would say something and they would look at me and they'd be like, "You were joking, weren't you?" And I'm like, "Ha ha ha! Yes, I was. Aren't I?"
Glad you picked up on that.
I know, and in my head, I'm like, "Why is this funny? I don't understand."
So don't play cards with you, right?
Oh, yeah.
You can.
We play cards. We just lose a lot.
We lose a lot. But that's the thing, we play cards with the Lafayette Gambler, and it's Andre Mouton. That dude can play some cards. Whew. But it's all good.
Yeah, he will not. He'll always lie throughout the whole thing. So you just gotta pick up on his little ticks, and then from there you're like, okay, he's lying.
Yeah, that's
Sometimes he's not, and when he's not, he's normally on the ball, and you're just like, I'm gonna kick your ass. Yeah,
But
I
I
call
think
my nemesis.
I think it was great that the way you framed your appreciation of the culture and how it's like you never know which direction the conversation is going to shift, but you know it's going to be cool. That's what I wanted this show to be representative of. Was just like we don't know what we're going to talk about, and it's just going to go. It's like, how do you think the fact that we have a more democratic controlled government is going to affect like the cigar industry? Because I know there's stuff coming.
Well, I mean, I think it's so far reaching that we really don't have a good idea yet, right? Whenever you start changing minimum wage and things like that, it pushes the cost of everything up. And so folks that are struggling now, even though you may increase the minimum wage, but everything goes up. And I think cigar prices are going to go up, and it may get to a point where it pushes some people out of being able to afford them, because it's not a poor man's habit. Right?
No, it really isn't.
No,
but,
it's not.
But what's interesting is with cigarettes, I know they keep throwing these taxes directly onto the purchase of cigarettes. So now in like New York City, it's like what, $15 for a box?
Yeah, for just a pack.
Just
of
a pack of
cigarettes.
cigarettes.
Just a pack.
It's ridiculous. They're still doing it. You know, I mean, they only have like one kidney each now, but they're still smoking.
Right, but when you increase it just a few cents in increments, it's habit. You know, they're still going to do it because they'll give up other things to smoke cigarettes. It's kind of like
Well, they're inhaling it too. Yeah, they're inhaling it, so that nicotine's like making them reach for it every second. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, you got to keep refilling that tank, and I'd stop smoking cigarettes.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm just really glad we got him to switch to cigars from cigarettes.
Oh, absolutely.
Because like
Cigars are healthy for you.
Every time he would smoke a cigarette, I would just give him that look, that judgy look. It's just like, ugh.
Yeah,
It's
and
so gross.
It is gross, actually. Now that I don't, like, if I come back around someone smoking like a cigar, and then I'm just like, you don't have that after smell of like you just stepped into an ashtray and all your clothes or whatever. Like, even in an environment like this where we're all three smoking, I mean, it gets taken out of here or whatever. But you put that same environment with cigarette smokers, it smells different. It smells like a foot in an ashtray.
Oh yeah.
But not with cigars. Cigars, everyone's like, "Oh, you smell good. What you doing?" I'm like,
Right.
"Yeah, I'm smoking cigars." So
That's the thing about going to the places and you smell something different. And you're like, oh, that's an interesting smell. And then just going back and forth. And
that and pipe tobacco. Oh God, I could hang out with people who smoke pipe tobacco all day long.
dude, have you ever met an idiot smoking a pipe?
No,
No,
and that's another thing
because it
Yeah,
adds
you
like
don't.
20 points to your IQ just smoking a pipe.
Yeah.
You're just like,
It's
"Ooh,
crazy."
This guy looks like he knows what he's doing. Because like when you're smoking a cigar, you just hold it and you puff. But when you're smoking a pipe, that's like a full-time job.
Yeah, it
Puff,
is.
puff. You got to pack. You got to do your little tools, and you're doing all this stuff. It's like, man, he must have went to college for that. I couldn't do that. My father-in-law smokes a pipe, and it's just like, I'm gonna have to pick it up by the time I'm a grandfather. It's like, that is like the most grandfather thing.
Well, that's
to
what
do.
grandfathers do.
That's what they do, man.
I'm really enjoying
Cigar
this.
smoking's easy. Like you cut one end, light the other, right? And pipes, you have to have a skill set to keep that thing burning.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
I saw a guy say, I invented a new way to smoke a cigar. It's the easy way. You just light the cap and smoke it backwards. That's what he said.
well, it goes to play what you just said about idiots smoking pipes.
I was like, okay, dude, really? Way to solve a problem that didn't exist.
Wow.
Yeah.
He probably just wanted to be able to read the band as he smoked.
He's like, oh, that's
Look
what I'm
at that.
still smoking.
Still a Fuente. There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, look, it's on fire.
Oh man. Some of the stuff people come up with, it's very entertaining. Yep, no doubt.
So do you have any plans for expansion or other things on the horizon?
Well, actually, a little bit, yes, sir. We have a little storeroom that we're turning into a VIP room that is going to be for our customers that rent lockers from us, our core group. We'll have a little private room set up in there for them, and they
Lap
can go
dances.
in. Yeah. Well, yeah.
Paul's like, if the price is right, I'm not picky.
I'm
Yeah.
going to be scooting it all on.
That's it, man. Bring the bucks and wheelbarrows. We're good to go. Right? So, now we're going to put that in there for those guys, so it makes it more exclusive for them, and bring in some other lines of cigars this next year. We're also expanding for coffees, espressos and that type of stuff. We're hiring another hostess for us that is a barista as well. So they'll be making coffees and all that for us.
That's amazing.
That's awesome. One thing I wanted to ask, when you were mentioning having like people come in to show you new lines to try to get you to pick them up, do you ever pick some where you're like, this is dog shit? Like, I would never buy this.
Well, there have been those, yes, sir.
Well, I mean, I know why he's asking that question, because some of the other people who sell cigars in the area, they were talking about, well, they're making us go through their Snickle Fritz first before they'll even give us the good stuff. So, like, well, why? Like,
that's just some of the larger companies. They have their allocations out, and so if you're the new guy and you're like in Louisiana, what we smoke here is a drop in the bucket compared to Texas, for instance. So we don't get the first choice for everything that there is, right?
yeah.
But for guys that come in and they come out with some cigars that you go, wow, I'm not sure that I'd even give those away. But it's, you thank the guy for his time for coming in, because he's just trying to do a job, right?
Yep.
So you try to be respectful of him, and I think they can tell though when you smoke a little bit of it and you set it down and you light one of yours back up.
Yeah, that's the way to get a hint.
Yeah.
Like, look, buddy, take the hint.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, but it's just like we go back to the culture too. It's you try to recognize everyone else's efforts, and you don't want to press someone in the dirt and say, hey, that's just crap, get it out of here. There are some folks that do that, but at the end of the day, that's not what we're all about. So,
well, I realize Texas is on a scale other than for Louisiana. How would you describe within the state of Louisiana the Lafayette culture comparatively with the rest of the state?
Well, Lafayette is a very unique place. It's full of folks that love outdoor activities, festivals, festivities. I mean, if you can find an excuse to drink, which there's so many of them here.
Every week.
Like, I'm not drinking. Hey, let's drink.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, it's really kind of neat. The people here are really they're close knit, because most of them have grown up together, and they live their lives here together, raised their families and stuff, and they go to high school and stuff. There's not that many high schools, so if you think about it, it's a small core group that know each other, and they socialize a lot and have a lot of get-togethers, things like that here. Celebrate their heritage and eat some incredible food.
Yeah.
So,
I see you have a number of televisions in here. Do you host events for things on the televisions?
Well, we do. We host different events, different games, that kind of things. We've added a switcher system so we can change the channels and all, so you can watch something different on any TV you want to. And we have groups that come in. They host a business meeting. We have activities so they can play their presentations and things on the different TVs and such like that. So,
what about like sporting events, like the big like UFCs and stuff like that, boxing?
Well, we don't do the UFCs. The cable companies have kind of priced us out of it, because we're kind of in that entertainment bar thing.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Wild Wings are big enough to pay those costs, and we're kind of not. But as far as the football games, UL games especially, LSU, we host cookouts, get-togethers here. We have a couple of our customers. One owns a fantastic place he just opened up down on Verrock called Southern Rue. If you haven't tried that, you got to go by and try it. He has lunch menu daily, and he cooks crawfish and shrimp at night, so you can go by and pick up what you want. But he's offered to come in and cook, and I think later this month we're doing a jambalaya on a Sunday, so folks can come in, hang out, eat, smoke, and socialize even more. Yeah, that's going to be on the 25th, by the way. So.
Okay,
Cool. We'll put that in there.
But yeah.
Todd was just signaling me. He said the 25th. So 25th.
So we're good. We got a good intel there.
Yeah.
25th. All right. I love the events. When we went to the Super Bowl over at Bailey's.
Yep.
Man, that was just cool.
Yeah, it was a good time.
But
we had a good crowd here.
They do a lot of music here too.
Oh,
Can you hear the music from that side over here? If someone's playing live.
Well, sure. Okay. The wall's not that thick, and so usually it's loud enough that We just turn the sound off on any TVs or music over here, and it's plenty loud because it is a cigar shop, and we do like to talk, so we can hear it very well and have conversations,
So I totally forgot. We have viewers from all over the globe, really.
We do.
And we need to explain some stuff. This wall is not an exterior wall. What is on the other side of that wall?
That's the sports bar.
That's a sports bar. Okay, so on this side of the wall is a cigar lounge. On that side of the wall is a sports bar. And what is in this wall for the customers?
You talking about the windows?
The door.
Oh, the door. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, absolutely. We have a door you pass through.
So why is there a wall here?
Well, because of our wonderful government here locally, when they passed a smoking ban, you can't smoke in bars. So it would completely eliminate us smoking cigars in this place. So the bar owner, Ronnie, came up with a fantastic idea to split the two premises and have two separate businesses. Got the approval from the city. We got it taken care of and done, and all the permits. And so now, because of this wonderful state, you can take alcohol out of a bar here. From Texas, wow, really? You can do that here?
Yeah.
I was like, man, this is great.
It is crazy. There is a door behind the bar for bartenders to traverse the wall and enter either side so they can bring drinks back and forth. But because there's a wall, the government's like, sounds good to me. That'd be like having your mom be like, listen, you cannot sleep in the same bed with that girl. And you're like, all right, look, I put a curtain. It's 2 beds. Okay. It's a
totally different thing.
That's fine.
It's completely different.
Well, it's great because you can go next door, pick up drinks, that kind of stuff. Come over here, sit back, pick a cigar, smoke, drink, hang out.
And this is one of the only places you could do that in.
Yeah, I do have a question about hookah lounges. Do you know why they're able to sell alcohol and have a hookah going at the same spot?
Well, they can't.
Oh, so
that doesn't happen.
Well, there was a
There's a place.
there was a bar on Johnson Street that's exactly what it was, and I guess everybody was just kind of going under the table for that.
Well, like I said, we have an interesting government here locally, and the ordinance prohibits hookahs specifically in that ordinance. So you can't smoke hookahs in a bar. You can't have a liquor license and smoke hookahs according to ordinance.
Wow.
So
Okay.
how that's done, I don't know. I'm sure there's something that the city had to consider to allow that to take place.
Well, I know it can't be corruption because if anyone knows anything about Louisiana,
There's no corruption
there's
here.
no corruption here. None at all.
Yeah, I'll stay away from that one. But, but I'm sure there are concessions made for all kinds of things. So, and I'll give the local government that they look for ways to help you. A lot of times, sometimes they don't. But it just depends on what the sensitivity of the day is, if you will. And so
One thing about this place that I like is it is primarily a place to hang out rather than a place to go buy your sticks and get out. There are a bunch of shops that I've seen where they keep normal business hours, and
Why they do that is beyond me.
I don't understand.
It blows me away. Like, look, if you're looking, like, you get off work, you're like, oh, I'm done at 5. It's going to take me some traffic. 6 o'clock is your closing time for your business of selling cigars. Why would you do that? You're limiting so much. No one's out all day. I'm like, hey, I'm going to go stop by and get myself a cigar. They should have places like this.
Well, that's just it. There's traditional cigar shops here in town. They close their doors at 5 or 6.
Yep.
And then there's ones that open their doors at 5 or 6. We open at noon, so you can come in starting at noon. The bar opens at 12 as well, except on the weekends, and they open at 4 o'clock. And then you come in, get alcohol, and hang out. But those other shops, they're a shop. It's a retail business. You go in, you buy. They do have places that you can smoke during the day, but at the end of the day, they close their doors, and then we're here. So it's funny. Somebody goes, "Hey, do you see these other shops as your competition?" I said, "No, not really, because we do something different.
Yep.
We're not a traditional cigar shop. We don't sell. We don't sell a huge amount by the boxes or bundles. Mostly individual cigars
that are smoked here on premise, probably.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Most guys will buy 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, come in and smoke and have a couple of drinks and relax, and it ends a good day and starts a good night, and
Yep.
some of them will go on through the night. We have, but that's what we cater to. We cater to those folks that looking for the after hours thing.
So what is your best seller?
That's a good question. It floats around. One of my buddies, when we first opened this, he said, "Oh, you got to carry acid cigars," and I was like, "Oh no, we're going to be a real cigar shop." And he said, "Well, no, really, you really need to carry a few acid cigars." And I thought,
Yeah,
man,
he wasn't
well,
lying.
we'll never sell those, you know. So anyway, we opened up, and our number one seller for the first 3 months were acid cigars.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So it was kind of neat, but it got me introduced into them. I'm not an acid. I don't smoke acid cigars, but there's a lot of people that really enjoy them, and it's a well-made cigar. Some of them have great aromas, so you know it's kind of like potpourri burning at the house or something. You know, so
It's just that's it. It's almost like an incense type of experience and a cigar experience, and it's like you don't have to develop a palate to appreciate that acid because it's just it's chemically enhanced to make it palatable. You know, it's like buying, you know, sugar infused foods or salt. It's an easy way to make them taste good. And I personally really enjoyed taking guys who were acid smokers and like showing them, hey, you don't have to lean on these oils. You can actually develop a tobacco palate.
Yep.
And now they're like buying Habanos and like they're getting into it, and now they don't smoke acids anymore. So it's like,
Yeah, my first experience was acid. I was like, well, "This is not a cigar, man. This is not good."
and I don't want to be that guy who like doesn't call you a real cigar smoker if you smoke acids, but there's something to be said about the fact that there's a progression of smokers, and they generally start with the acids, and then once they transition to like I almost said the real ones, but like the non-infused ones, they don't go back.
No, they don't.
You know, like I'll never smoke a Deadwood. I'll never smoke an Isla del Sol. I'll never smoke an acid again. It's just because why would I? You know, but you see a lot of acid smokers getting into the other stuff, and so it's like it goes some distance towards the claim that like once you get your big boy pants on, you don't smoke acids. You know, and I think that's why we tend to kind of condescend a little bit, like it's not authentic.
What is Johnny's? People call them the sugar canes.
Sugar cane
They get them
cigars.
sugar cane cigars.
yeah, the Al del Sols. Yeah, well, I mean, that's a standard tradition. Most of the guys come in, they start smoking the acids a little bit. So you start working with them and get them to try something a little bit different, like the Deadwood cigars, for instance. They're a sweeter tobacco, Perique tobacco, done from, I don't know, Drew Estates does a great job with them. And we have people that love those cigars. Then you introduce them into, you know, I almost said real cigars. Yeah, introduce them into something else, and then they go back to the Deadwoods back and forth, but very few of them go back to the acids. Acids are kind of their own following. It's a fantastic cigar for that group, and people that smoke them really love them. But we see a lot of people coming in and they don't know what to expect. So they'll start with something sweet like that. They've heard acid is good to try. So they'll try that, and then they'll move on to other things, right? So,
Yeah.
One of the things that I was so proud of my wife when she started smoking cigars is she started with the sweet ones. You know, she got the leather, all those Deadwoods, because, I mean, the way they're marketed, it's perfect for women because it's these beautiful artworks of like Dios de la Muerta, and they're well-made cigars. So she ended up getting a box of like the Sweet Janes, and she's giving them away because she's like moved on. Now she's a Padron smoker. She loves Padron, and so it's just like, you're so cool.
Well, I mean, who doesn't like Padrones, right?
Well, I think there's a big difference between an infused cigar and a Padron. Padrones are
Yep.
not for the faint-hearted, for the weak-tongued. You know. I'm in my final third. How are you guys doing?
I'm there.
Yeah, about the same place.
All right, so now you kick us off with your final third notes.
Again, I'm gonna say it's probably because I've been pulling on so hard. That pepper is still pronounced. The draw's perfect. I'm starting to get more of a like an oakier taste. So I like it.
I am
I'd
gobsmacked.
totally recommend.
I am gobsmacked that a cigar this affordable is so well constructed.
Yeah.
That to me is more impressive than anything else. Is just that like it is burned flawlessly. I touched it up once when I broke my ash, just because you always, when your ash falls, there's always that chance it's not gonna maintain the good burn. But other than that, every puff has had the right amount of smoke, right amount of flavor. Wow, are these hand rolled or box pressed or what?
Well, they're hand rolled, but those are box pressed. That particular one you're smoking is that limited reserve box pressed Toro.
There's something about like you want to call like hand roll the top of the mountain, but the consistency of a box press, it's hard to beat it.
Yep,
it really is.
I would have to agree.
So, but I'm getting the pepper is very strong, and the peat flavor is like really,
the what flavor?
The peat flavor.
Oh, okay,
like that earthy flavor is really, really strong. So, if you are into smoking acids, you watched the wrong episode. You're gonna have to move up a little bit. But if you like La Flor Dominicana, if you like the earthier cigars, oh my God, this is going to be right in your wheelhouse. If you are more into the like the more refined Maduros, it's very different from a Fuente. Like the Reserve is very, very different from that. It's even very different from, I would say, the My Father line. I don't see it having a whole lot of similarities with that, because the My Fathers, they do other things than have this intense earth note. But I like my cigar collection to have cigars representative of each flavor type, and so that way, whatever I'm feeling, I like to be able to customize to the mood. You're like, oh, I'm thinking this time, so I have a couple of those CAO Amazon Basins. I don't know if you've gotten to try those.
Oh, sure, absolutely.
Oh man, those are freaking
cigars.
Good. Yeah. And I didn't think. And they say that's a real earthy one. It ain't earthy like this.
Yeah.
This is earth plus massive intensity. But the Amazon Basin is earthy, but it's like real light and very, very different. So I like having a little bit of each type to choose from. I don't know. It just makes it that much more customizable,
And guess what? There's only one place you can get these things right now.
That's right.
There you go.
It's right here.
It's kind of funny. You talk about the array of different cigars you have in your humidor. I've got a special tray for guests that come over. It includes like Swisher Sweets and White Owls, so hand those out.
Acids.
Nice.
Yeah, acids. No, it's but I keep a tray for folks when they come over to try. We sit on the patio and smoke a few cigars, and it's kind of neat. I got a little bit of all kinds of regions in there and ask them what they like. So we talk about it and, hey, what do you want to drink? So here's a bunch of whiskeys and scotch. So you want okay, well, hey, those two cigars right there, pick one. We'll go great with it. So.
All right, we're going to play a game that I just made up right now.
Okay.
One word association. Okay. Your response has to be one word. Gurkha.
I'm going to preface this by saying, what was it the CEO of Gurkha said once? He said, millionaires smoke Davidoff, but billionaires smoke Gurkhas. I think Gurkha has an interesting line, but the word unique comes to mind.
Okay. I had no idea where he was going to go with it, but I wanted to put him on the spot. All right. Cool. Let's see. Nicaragua. As far as what's your one word response to Nicaragua within the context of cigars?
Women. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's a different show.
Yeah. Stronger.
Nice. That's in the wheelhouse of where I was thinking as well. Okay. All right. Value. One brand that hits that the best.
Taboo.
All right. Staying on theme for the episode. Nice. So, when you have your selection of what you want to sell, are you looking for like, I want to present the best value to the customers, or I want to focus on like price points, getting people, because everybody talks about the 1926, which is one of the more expensive sticks you're going to find in a store. Where do you want to hit your zone?
Well, because of the way that we operate here as a cigar lounge, right? We want a little bit of something for everyone. So our price points, range anywhere from $6 to $30. So the main price point is within that $10-12 range. And I think $10 or $12. If you spend $10 or $12 for a cigar, you don't feel like you have to save your pennies to get there, right?
Right.
So a lot of people see that range is probably the best value, because actually it really is. You don't have to pay $30 for an ultimate premium cigar, to enjoy it. You want something that's constructed well, that has great flavor, that is consistent, that lasts throughout, and you want to feel satisfied at the end of it. A $6 cigar, if you're out mowing the yard or something, they're great for that, right? But something to sit down and enjoy it with a good glass of scotch or whiskey, that value point, I think somewhere between $10 and $12 is really where most people they feel good about. So that's really where we focus a lot of ours at. Probably 60-70% of our line of cigars are in that $10 to $12 range.
That's where I am. I think you. Can
I would
get
have to agree.
Fantastic sticks for $10 to $12. I was smoking a Hamlet Topacaro yesterday, and that's like, well, that was a Gordo. That was a little bit bigger, but that was like almost $13. But solid hour and a half smoke, and just like this with consistency, delivery every time, hitting you on those notes. And I like sticks to where it can accompany an evening where we can just talk, or it can be so good where we just enjoy it. Don't have to say a whole lot. Like, man, that's cool. Do you smoke with your wife?
No, my wife, she really does not like smoke at all. Cigars, cigarettes, anything like that. So I smoke on the patio, and she sometimes complains about that. So
okay.
That's no bueno.
Yeah.
Does she make you take a shower like after you smoke one before she'll get near you?
She's kind of gotten used to the fact that I smell like cigars when I come home, or whatever. So she doesn't give me grief about that anymore. But it's still one of those things. She's been here in the shop a few times, but she doesn't come hang out because she has some allergies for the smoke. So it really does physically bother her. So.
See, it used to bother me, like make my allergies a lot worse, but I don't know, it's because I'm smoking superior stuff now. Maybe I just built up an immunity, but it doesn't negatively affect me the same way. But my wife was like that. She hated cigarette smoke or cigar smoke, and it would make me take showers. And now she was just like, she went from, hold on, I kind of like it on you.
Yeah.
And then it was, let me try that. And now, she's got her own collection, and it's just, that's crazy.
Yeah. Well, your wife is kind of unique. She's a really neat lady. I was very fortunate to get to meet her when you guys came in before, and she knows a lot about cigars. I mean, it's kind of a massive indulgence thing, I guess. She really immersed herself in it and learned, and she smokes a lot of different things, and she really liked those Cubans we had the other night.
Oh, dude. Yeah. She loves those tubos. My goodness. She just picked up some more. But like, okay, whatever, But God forbid I get to have one sometimes.
His humidors get so overwhelmed. He's just like, He's like, I gotta get another humidor. He just got this huge humidor from where our studio used to be, and this thing is massive. So if he fills that, and if you overflow that one, man.
Well, dude, I know where you can go to get help with that.
Would that be a humidor?
That would be a humidor. Well, the humidor in my house is a little larger than that cabinet there, and it's full.
That's pretty nice.
That's what you needed.
That's about the size of a Reagan.
Pretty close. A little larger. Reagan's a little bit smaller, nice pull-out drawers. That's a great humidor, though, by the way. But I was doing the gentleman from Dallas, Robert Stabell, built that humidor cabinet. He has these add-on AC heater units that you can put in the back for very stable temperature, and he designs his own humidification systems for them. He's gotten out of the business of building cabinets now, but he still does the humidification and the cooling systems for them. So, but I talked to him about Well, I want to make sure the airflow is good and it stays very consistent because I have some kind of pricey stuff in there. Right.
All right. So what is your most prized cigar in your collection?
Well, that's a good question. I have some very old. I have some 18 and 20-year-old Opus, and I've got some of the HMRs. Those are. I guess the HMRs. They're about $700 a cigar. I guess.
So like once you get to that point, then it's like I could never smoke this. You just have to just save it forever.
Well, that's why you put it in a display humidor.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
So you can go in and look at it and go, ooh, okay, now I get
Yeah.
Where's that Taboo?
Oh, what? Yeah, I've got my little like selection of ones that I think would pain me too much to smoke, so I'm just saving them for right now. And every time I walk by, like I check my gauges, and I have to look, and I'm like, I love you. But back to your question, do you not know the plans that are in the works for my house? We are about to draft plans to build a cigar lounge in our backyard. And I'm going to have my father-in-law build my humidor, and it's going to be like that. It's going to be like that. Very big.
Very big.
So yes, I plan to fill up the one that I just got, and we're going to keep on cruising. That's where we're going to go.
It'd be like most guys, you can go back and open the closet door and go, yeah, that was my first one. There's my second one.
That's right. That's right. And what's so cool is like Lindsay's in it. You know, she's not giving me grief for like, oh my God, how much money did you spend? She likes to be like, hey, you spent like $500 this week on cigars. And I'm like, hey, you want to go to Bailey's? Yes.
Okay.
Well, it's great when you both can enjoy the same thing. You know, it gives you something in common that you guys can do, and something that you can build a theme at your home around, such as yours, the cigar lounge in the back.
Yeah, and with our hosting, what's that?
So, where are you going to rate this?
Where are we going to rate this?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have to ask.
Are we nearing that spot in the show where we?
Yeah, we're definitely nearing that spot.
Okay. All right. Okay, let me take one last retro. Okay, so looking at everything, construction, the wrap, the burn, the ash, everything actually was phenomenal. That the integrity of the ash, you saw how firm it was. It didn't just fall off.
No.
That was very impressive. The pull has been consistently great. I like that it is a firm but free pull. A lot of times you feel like it's getting a little labored. It stayed real crisp the whole way, and with the flavor notes, I like the smoothness of the retro, and I liked how rich the actual draw was. So a cigar like this, I'm gonna go with an 87.
That's actually a really good number.
So, what you got?
So again, I was impressed with the presentation. I like every note that was in there.
I need some moisturizer. I'm ashy.
I would have to say I wouldn't go as high as 87. I'd go like 85. 85. But I would definitely spend the money because this is budget. I mean, this is like right in the wheelhouse of perfect. Do $11, pay $11 all day for this.
Right.
And I would put this in a humidor. Like, yep, yeah, I'm keeping those.
There you go.
And that's where I would put it.
Well, we still have our live show that we're trying to book our guests. As soon as we know the details, we're going to put it out there for you guys to keep track, because I want to have a very robust, lively interaction with the fans, and I want to be put on the spot as much as I put our guests on the spot. I really want to see that. So stay tuned for that. We got some big other news that we can't quite disclose yet, but I cannot wait. I cannot wait for that moment. And I want to thank our guest for being a host as well as a guest. Your place is awesome, and we love coming here to hang out and listen to a certain someone bitch about 5G.
Yeah, we love having you guys. It's always a pleasure to have you in. And like I said, the conversations never lag, man. You guys are fantastic. We really appreciate you coming in today.
Thank you. With that being said, I'm John Welsh, and I'm the gentleman.
And I'm Alex Stanford, and I'm the scholar. And on behalf of Mr. Paul, keep it smoky.
Always.